What's going on, guys? Mike Garvin, aka World's Most Jacked Athlete. Real quick, I want to talk about carbohydrates and also how when they break down into sugars, how it affects the human body. Okay, so carbohydrate stands for carbon, and then hydrate, which is water. So you got carbon and water. Okay, so you have simple carbohydrates, which are monosaccharides. Okay, so you have glucose, you also have fructose, and you also have galactose. Okay, so fructose and glucose actually have the same chemical formula, which is 6 carbon, you have 12 hydrogen, and you also have 6 oxygen. Okay, so now when you take too much of the simple carbohydrates, okay, they basically change, or they get broken down into sugars. So carbohydrates get broken down into sugars whenever you start eating them. There's an amylase enzyme in the mouth, okay, which starts breaking those carbohydrates down into sugar, okay, which becomes sweet. Now, when you have too much of a high doses of sugar, it can actually suppress the immune system. Okay, what I mean by that, you have white blood cells which help fight off any type of antigens or any type of viruses or bacteria. Okay, and that's something that you don't want to happen. So you kind of want to make sure that you're not taking too much of any type of high sugars like high fructose corn syrup, which is not even a nutrient at all. It's really just a toxin. Okay, so now there is an enzyme that you can get to kind of help prevent a whole lot of carbohydrates, especially if you have a high carbohydrate diet. A whole lot of carbohydrates from turning into sugars. Okay, so there's an enzyme called transglucosidase. Okay, so transglucosidase actually prevents starch from breaking down into sugar. Okay, and so basically what it does, it helps that starch turn into pre-fiber. Okay, so pre-fiber is basically what kind of helps you, let's say, expel extra waste, extra food. Okay, fiber also is really good for helping you go to the bathroom, and all this happens in the small intestine. Okay, so now some good carbohydrates that you actually want to get into your body are polysaccharides. Okay, so a polysaccharide is a complex carbohydrate like a starch, okay, which is a malopectin. Now, I do talk about this in my book, World's Most Jacked Athlete. I talk about a complex carbohydrate named waxy maize, where its molecular weight is actually heavier than most other carbohydrates like maltodextrin and actually dextrose, which is just another name of glucose. Okay, and so with this complex carbohydrate, it actually doesn't get digested in the stomach. It passes right through and goes straight into the small intestine as a long chain carbohydrate. So therefore, when it gets changed into glycogen, you have a huge glycogen storage, and glycogen can be used by the brain, it can be used by muscle cells, basically by everything in the body. So now when you have fructose, which is fruit sugar, it only gets metabolized in the liver. So you kind of want to be careful. Even though you have fruit is good. It has some good antioxidants, it has some good vitamins in it, but you want to be careful of the fructose sugar. Okay, now when you have fructose and when you have glucose, which comes together, it makes sucrose. Okay, sucrose is table sugar. Okay, and basically what they do with that, they basically refine it, they granulate it, and that's how you get the brown, and also that's how you get the white sugar that you see in grocery stores. Okay, and that's usually how the sugar process works. So if you're looking to kind of prevent those carbohydrates from getting broken down into sugars and more into a fiber, go ahead and get that enzyme, which is transglucosidase. Okay, that will help prevent that starch from transforming into a sugar. Also, don't forget, visit my website wmja29.com and order my book, where I put 15 years of research into this, so that way it can help athletes get to the next level and perform at the best of their ability.